Well, I grew up on Fishy Island, actually on Fishy Island, which was a self-contained place. Sounds silly, but it was. The only thing we didn't have there was a pie and mash shop and a post office. Everything else was there. And I was brought up and I had a wonderful family. I had a mum and dad and a brother, but we had a good life. We can't complain about the life we had. Of course, we went all through the war and that, but apart from that, I've not got complaints about my childhood. I lived in Monier Road. Monier Road was houses and that, and we had the boot shop. No, we had the off licence that side, the boot shop, sweet shop down there, another off licence there. Coming up the other side, we had a corn chandler's that sold everything. Then on the next corner, there was a laundry. Then you come right up to Dace Road, coming up to the top, there was the linen drapers, the laundry, the barbers, boot shop, paper shops and sweet shop. We had a lot of factories round there. Now, we start down Roach Road. A lot of the streets are named after fish. Bream, Stour, Dace, all that. That's why it's called Fishy Island. I suppose that's why they called it that. But in the corner is where I worked at Anderson's. There were a few roofing company because I worked in the office there. Next door was Youngers, used to make all the furniture. And then you could go right round to the iron foundry. We had Candles, Britannia, the Box Company, Wiseman's, the eyeglass factory, the peanut factory. Fenton's done all the great big things that they put on board ships to take things abroad. They was all round there. Up the top of Monier Road, 1 minute, there was a paper shop there. Up the top, there was a little library. Next door was what we called the wash house and the bob. People took the laundry into the bob and done it. And then you had the bars in there and you shared out if you wanted hot or cold water and all that. That was up there. That's what I say. So it's sort of self-contained. No, but there's so many things about Fishy Island that... But in the end, well, we all moved out in the end. I got married. I lived in Joddle Road then, down the road. And then we used to have everything at your fingertips. But the old people were nice. I mean, I often laugh. I mean, you see people are 40 a day. What they look like, 40 years old, all dressed up and tarted up. At 90 they are. But then, about 40, they wore long black dresses with a little nanny bag under there and a cap sometimes and a shawl round their shoulders. That's how they used to be. So you go all that way back. It's strange, really, what did go on. Really, we couldn't complain, but the children used to play silly games. We didn't all have computers. Not heard of. Used to play Hi Jimmy Nacko, and all the old ladies sat out in front like this out in the street watching you. And Tippy Cat, and silly games up the wall and balls up the wall. We played all different games that didn't cost a penny, but they're not satisfied with that now. We used to have the Indian toffee man come round, the man with his fish cart, with his wrinkles and that, the hurdy-gurdy for the children. Went up the steps and you went round on it. You either give the man a jam jar or a halfpenny to have a ride. I've swam in the canal. We used to go down there with the boys and swim. Bit oily. I used to go swimming down Roman. Oh, we had a bars down Roman Road. That's right. Where the chemist is, used to be a swimming bath and toilets underneath. Next door to that was a shoe shop. We used to go up there. It used to cost us a penny to go swimming. Well, first of all, we went to Smead Road, which is no longer there. That was a mixed class. Then from there, we went up to the girls' class. And then they took us into Monteith Road, but it wasn't there long enough because the war broke out. So that was the end of schooling. So we didn't get no education. But I think we got more brains than what some of the youngsters have today. I mean, I don't stand there counting on my fingers. But I was a typist. Well, when I left school, I was 14. I went into the eyeglass factory and I went in the office there. Then I left that and I went to the roofing felt company. One was that way and one was that way. But after I had my son, I went back to the eyeglass factory. Because, I mean, I was 27 when I had him. Then I went back to the eyeglass factory and done part-time. I worked there 32 years. First of all, 1 minute, it's Olga now. It was Wiseman's. And we had a lot of Germans working there as toolmakers during the war. Some went back and some stopped and went into camps. My dad had my grandfather had it, a boot shop, shoe mending. But years before, when he was young, he was a shoemaker. Dulces and all them big ones. Then when his father went, he took the shop over. Smid Road went that way, Money Road went that way, it was right on the corner. And on the other corner was the off-licence. Then in the end, during the war, people used to knock at the door all hours of the day and night to get their shoes done. Never thought you wanted to rest and they ain't got no money or something. In the end, he went out and got a job. He worked in the factory I worked in. He went out roofing. Well, we got bombed out. We had an Anderson shelter there because it went on a long way. Anderson shelter, all you were carried about, as long as you got your belongings, something to eat, drink, and your policies. I don't know why, if you went up, policies was no good. But then, when I got married, we had an Anderson shelter there. See, that's how it went. But then, with that, what happened with the first one? Oh, the first one, the man whose house we lived in, he hopped off and left the dog. We always ended up with everybody's dogs. I had dogs all my life. I used to train all my own dogs to walk and road sense. And he went off and my dad went back for the dog and I thought he was it. The glass all went across him. I got shot into the shelter. My grandfather was there. He said, "How about my beer?" Well, I won't repeat what I said to him. He was worried about his beer. I burnt my foot because the bomb fell down, and funny enough, because we moved in the flats, because they had their lights on, and we moved in them flats. But everybody was all right. Everyone was getting bombed out. You got so used to it. You had the doodle-bugs follow up here and down there. It seemed like they knew where they were going. Then we went and slept down Liverpool Street.